ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देव गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा। So we have already completed up to seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So now we will start from the eighth chapter onwards. So towards the end of the seventh chapter of the Gita, Krishna was already, speaking about, uh, Brahman and different types of devatas and all these subject matters. And that is the reason why the eighth chapter came into picture. Because Krishna ended seventh chapter in such a way that Arjuna had some doubts about these terminologies, that what is actually Brahman, or what is actually karma, and what is actually that binds us in this world, what is the reason why, what is matter, what is spirit. All these doubts also came into the mind of Arjuna. He started asking, what do you mean by devatas, what do you mean by demigods, and all those things. So the eighth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita starts from this point. Arjuna, Arjuna's question to Krishna about all these terminology. So we will, first of all, I'll share the screen. We'll start from the verses itself. So this is the eighth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 8.1. अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किम् अध्यात्मम् किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते. So Arjuna uvacha, Arjuna spoke the following things. So kim in Sanskrit means what. किम मतलब क्या, सब पूछते हैं ना हम लोग हिंदी में, तो सिमिलरली इन संस्कृत इट इज किम तद ब्रह्म. कि कृष्णा, यू आर स्पीकिंग अबाउट ब्रह्म और ब्रह्मन. व्हाट इज ब्रह्म or Brahman? You should not confuse this with Brahma, Lord Brahma. So this is not Brahma, this is Brahma, Brahman, like that we can say. So Kim Tat Brahma. So what is this Brahma or Brahman? Kim Adhyatmam, and what do you mean by Adhyatma? Adhyatma मतलब क्या होता है? Kim Karma Purushottama? O Purushottama, O best among Purushas. uh, what is karma? What do you mean by karma? Adhibhutam cha kim proktam. Proktam means called or like speaking. So what do you mean by adhibhutam? What is the meaning of something which is called adhibhutam? So he is basically asking, what is adhibhutam? What do you mean by adhibhutam? Adhidaivam kim uchyate? And what do you mean by what is that which is called adhidaivam? What is adhidaivam? Like that Arjuna is asking. So Arjuna's questions are, what is Brahman? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adhibhutam? And what is Adhidaivam? Five questions. So now Krishna, one by one, he will answer the entire thing. Like that. See. So Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? So Adhyatmam, here Prabhupada says that Adhyatmam means the self. है ना? हम लोग कहते हैं ना कि स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ इज ऑफन कॉल्ड अध्यात्म जीवन. आध्यात्मिक स्तर पर ऐसा लोग कहते हैं ना. तो आध्यात्मिक मतलब क्या है? आध्यात्मिक मतलब खुद के बारे में. आत्मा मतलब खुद. ऐसा. सो अध्यात्म मीन्स द सेल्फ. So Arjuna asks, what is Brahman, and what do you mean by Adhyatma, or what is the self? Right. So in this question itself, there is an answer. So it definitely means that Arjuna is not actually speaking about the body here, because he has a clear distinction between his body and his soul. Else why would he ask that, what do you mean by the self? Right. So Arjuna is inquiring about the real self here. So we are going to make a distinction actually, ki what actually is the difference, and what is matter and what is spirit, and all these things we will see. Kim karma, what is fruitive activities? What do you mean by karma? And what do you mean by adhibhutam? Adhibhutam means this material manifestation, everything that we see around, even ourselves for that matter, this body of ours, this mind of ours, this intellect of ours, all this is part of adhibhutam. That is this material manifestation. है ना? पंच महाभूत कहते हैं ना. पंच महाभूत मतलब all these great five elements. So bhutam here means elements, and adhibhutam means these material manifestation, these material elements. And what is Adhidaivam? Adhidaivam means the Devatas. What do you mean by Devatas? Well, so Krishna in the previous chapter, he also mentioned no, ki, men of small intelligence, they prefer to worship all these Devatas for getting their wishes fulfilled, and all those things. So Arjuna has this doubt. What do you mean by Devatas? Who are demigods now? Like that. So Arjuna has five basic questions, and these are the five questions that we must also have actually. Why? When we speak about Brahman, there are two aspects of Brahman. One is Brahman, and the second is Parabrahman, right? The supreme person, like that. So Brahman is that life force within us. That is called Brahman. That life force which is a part and parcel of Krishna, which is giving life to this dead matter, our body. That is Brahman. And it is of that same spiritual quality in everyone in this universe. That is Brahman. So when you ask that what is Brahman, you are actually asking, who am I? You are actually fundamentally seeking for your own identity. So that's why it comes to the next question is, what is Adhyatmam? What is the self? Right. So actually, what is my constitutional position? What am I really? Am I this body? Am I this mind? Am I this intelligence? uh, or am I this ego? No, I am that part of Brahman. I am Brahman. So that is what. So these are the questions that arise in the heart of everyone. We must always, seek answer for these questions. These are the questions which are worth searching for answer. Like, what is Brahman? What is Adhyatmam? Who am I? Right? This is from where actually, the spiritual quest begins. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. That jigyasa, that enthusiasm, to know, to understand, and to find out who is Brahman, or what is my real identity. So this is what Arjuna is asking here. The first question, what is Brahman? Second question, what is Adhyatma? What do you call Adhyatma? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? Right? And the fourth one is, what is this material manifestation? And the fifth one is, who are the devatas? So these questions, they come to our mind also at some point or the other. For people who are a bit of philosophically inclined, or especially people who are really suffering, they are good within their hearts but still they are suffering in this world. So at that point, you might ask that all these hardships and everything is coming, why is it coming to me? you know why is it not there in the life of so and so person? Say for example, Mr. X is not suffering, I am suffering. Why is it so? Why the life is so difficult for me alone? So at that point we ask that मैंने ऐसा क्या कर दिया? Right? What have I done that I am suffering right now? So that is where karma comes into picture. Many people might say you that this is, you don't just uh, cry all the time for all these things, because at the end of the day these are the results of your own karma that you are you know uh, going through. So what is actually karma? So this might be a question that might arise in our mind, that what is that thing which I have done which I don't even remember? You know, what are those things because of which I am suffering in this world? Second thing is, what is adhibhutam? We might think that, okay, is this world really a coincidence? Isn't that some billions of years ago some kind of explosion happened in the space, and because of that we all are sitting in front of a laptop and discussing about Bhagavad Gita? Is it just is life just a coincidence? Are these manifestations just a coincidence, that every kind of living being has a different way of eating and different way of reproducing, and different ways of defending themselves from dangers? Like for example, the trees, they are eating through photosynthesis, preparing their own food. But we are dependent on these trees itself for fruits and grains and whatnot. For grains we are dependent on the plants. And you know uh, there are some sort of animals who are eating some other animals. There are some animals which are eating grass and whatnot. We see that, is it just a coincidence that everything is happening aise hi? Life came just as a matter of, oh, it was a coincidence, some kind of reaction, and life happened. Right? So some point we might also have this question in our mind, Are bapre, what is this world? What is this material manifestation? What is my relationship with it? Am I related to this in some way, or am I not related to this? What is actually, why am I suffering in this world? And all these things, we might come across this doubt. Then from a deeper sense of religion and spirituality, we might come across this thing also, that there are 10 different people speaking about 10 different kinds of gods. you know someone is saying that even if you only take, for that matter, our Hindu dharma, we see that somebody is worshipping Ganesha, somebody is worshipping Durga Devi, somebody is worshipping Shivji, and somebody is worshipping Vishnu. So what is this? Who is really the Supreme Lord? We might have this question. Who is actually the Supreme Lord? What is the connection between all these devatas? Some people say that the Supreme Lord is only one, right? If you do worship Ganesh ji, or if you do worship Shiv ji, or if you do worship Vishnu, all these give the same result because they are all supreme, like that some people might say. Yet another people might say, make a grading between all these people, that no, 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 because Ganesh ji has come from Shiv ji must be greater than Ganesh ji, right? And once there was a competition between Brahmaji and Shivji. So in that Shivji won, so Shivji must be the so there are different kinds of ideas and different types of scriptures and all these things. And throughout we might come across this doubt that what actually is it all contradicting each other? Is it contradictory? Or what does it really mean to be God? Who is really God? Who is really a devata? What is the distinction between these people? So all these questions, these five questions fundamentally must come in our lives. So that is how we also perfect our lives. It is only through, it is only for the people who ask questions the answers are there. It is not for someone who is ignorant and sleeping. No, there is no answers for him. The answers and solutions are only available for those who endeavor for them, who ask them to the one who knows. So these five questions, these are very fundamental questions that if we know answers to even these five questions, we can perfect our life. We will understand that what is the goal of life and what am I doing. You can make a clear discrimination and move forward. But these five questions must arise. So beautiful verse by Arjuna. We will see what's next. अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन देहेऽस्मिन् in this body. Okay. Adhiyajna katam kotra dehesmin. So Adhiyajna, Yajna means sacrifices, and Adhiyajna means the Lord of the sacrifices. Right? Adhiyajna katam kotra. Who is Adhiyajna? And katham, how dehesmin, how is he living inside the body? So Arjuna is asking two things. He is saying that who is this Adhiyajna? Because Krishna says that I am, you have to offer yajna or sacrifices to Vishnu. And Krishna also speaks about the fact of Paramatma when he speaks in the sixth chapter of how you must focus on the Lord in your heart. And we also discussed from Srimad Bhagavatam second canto as to the description of Paramatma in those sessions. So Arjuna is asking here that Adhiyajnah katam kotra dehesmin Madhusudana. Oh Madhusudana, who is this Adhiyajna? Who is this Lord of sacrifices? And how is he staying within the body of the living beings? Right? Or you may say that who is this Adhiyajna staying inside the body of all the living beings? Right? Arjuna is asking, O Madhusudana. Prayana kale cha katham nyeyosi niyatatmabhihi. And prayana kale. Prayana means to go on a tour or something. So prayana kale here doesn't mean going to Bali or Indonesia or something. No. Prayana kale here means once your soul quits the body and goes far away. So that is prayana kale. Towards the end of your life, when you are about to die. मैं अब जाने के लिए तैयार हूं ऐसे कहते हैं ना हम लोग. तो वैसा तो प्रयाण काले तो the time when death is near, when you are about to die, katham nyeyosi niyatatmabhihi, how do people remember you? Niyatatmabhihi, who are self controlled devotees, how do they do that? So Krishna, So here he is asking, who is the Lord of the sacrifices and how does he live in the body, O Madhusudana? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Okay. So Arjuna is making, clear questions here. In the previous verse, he asked five things. Those five terminologies he asked, that what is Brahman and what is Adideva and Adibhuta and Adhyatma and all those things. Now Arjuna is saying that who is this Adiyatnya and how does he stay in the body of every living being? And how can one know you, my Lord, at the time of death? Right? Niyat Atmabhi is saying for self controlled. There is question and answer both here if we clearly try to understand this. So Arjuna is very clearly saying Niyat Atmabhi, which means that you have to be self controlled actually to remember Krishna at the time of death. It is not by a fluke. It is not just that it is very easy, because the time of death is not going to be like how we are sitting right now, simply अरे वाह ऐसा, हाँ सोच लेंगे, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, सोचना ही तो है बस, ऐसे सोच लेंगे, भगवान का नाम ले लेंगे और चले जाएंगे हम, ऐसा पीपल थिंक इट इज very easy. You can just remember and go away, but it doesn't seem that easy, because if it was that easy, then Arjuna wouldn't have put up this question when he is fighting the most crucial and important fights of his life in the Kurukshetra. He won't be asking these questions, that uh, prayana kale, he might be thinking ki are marte time, if it was so easy that he has to just remember Krishna is standing beside him, so why would he ask this? So we must understand that how important of a question this is. This question itself states this fact: it is not easy to remember Krishna at the time of death, especially for one who has not controlled himself, who has no control over his senses. He cannot remember Krishna at the time of death. For that matter, he cannot even think of Krishna when he is living finely. Time of death is a very big examination, it's a crucial time, right? So we must take this seriously, this question of Arjuna, that how can one know you, my Lord, at the time of death, right? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatmamuchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaro Visargah Karma Samyitah. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So Shri Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, is speaking. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. First question is answering what is Brahman, and here he is saying Aksharam. Akshara means वो जो कभी क्षर नहीं होता. Shar means which gets destroyed. So Aksharam means something which is indestructible. It does not get destroyed at any point of time. So that is what Aksharam is. So Krishna says that what is Brahman? Brahman is something which is Akshara. It is indestructible. And Paramam. So see, Paramam has actually two meanings. When you take Sanskrit, you will understand that Paramam has two meanings. Paramam, one meaning of Paramam is supreme, and the second meaning of Paramam is which is transcendental to this world. I'll tell you how. मतलब हम लोग इवन हिंदी में भी जब बात करते हैं तो हम लोग ऐसा कहते हैं ना कि अरे वो तो ये दुनिया से परे है, ये दुनिया से परे है. सो वो परे मतलब वो परमम के साथ अगर आप उसको लिंक करोगे, वी आर एक्चुअली ट्राइंग टू कंपेयर this material manifestation and the spiritual manifestation. So we say that what is Brahman is actually paramam, which means that Brahman is not of this world. Brahma is not something its nature is not that of this material manifestation. It is paramam. वो ये मैटर से परे है, like that. So here the meaning of paramam is transcendental. You know, this Brahman is what it is: transcendental. It is divine. It has a divine nature. It is not like anything which is made up of, this five gross elements or the subtle elements like the mind, intelligence, and false ego. No, it does not belong to this world. It is not actually something which is a part of this material world. No, it is paramam. It is, beyond this world. It is transcendental. So two things Krishna, even in the first line itself, he is saying that Aksharam Brahma Paramam. First thing is it is indestructible. Brahman has no destruction. It is, always that Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. It has no destruction, which means that it is not bound by time also. If you see, so which means that it is Paramam, means it is not of this world. It means that it is not bound by any time or space or anything like that. So what is Brahman? It is Aksharam, it is indestructible, it is forever, it is eternal, and it is Paramam. It does not belong to this world, it is transcendental. Swabhavo Adhyatmam Uchyate, and the Swabhava, the eternal nature, है ना, किसी का स्वभाव है, हम कहते हैं ना किसी का नेचर है, ऐसा. So the eternal swabhava, the eternal nature of this Brahman is called Adhyatma. That is called Adhyatma. Adhyatma Muchyate. Bhuto Bhavod Karo. So in these two lines, actually Krishna answered to the first two questions of Arjuna. That what is Brahman and what is Adhyatmam. Two things. So first he said that what is Brahman? Brahman is first of all Aksharam. It is indestructible. It is forever. You know, and it is Paramam. It does not belong to this world. It is transcendental to this world. That is Brahman. And what is its Swabhava, its eternal nature is called Adhyatmam. Adhyatmam Uchyate. It is called Adhyatmam. Right? What do you call Adhyatmam? Or the self is what? Nothing but Brahman. And that is the characteristic or nature of this Brahman. The nature of Brahman is called Adhyatmam. Now, the next question. Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karo Visargaha Karma Samjitaha. So, these, you asked me what is this Adhibhuta or this material manifestation. So, these material manifestation come into existence. It is created as a result of your karma. So something which is causing this material manifestation, to be created, it is because of karma. So he gave a relative answer here. You see, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entity is called karma or fruitive activities. You see, it is a very, Krishna has spoke a lot of things. We can, go on for days and nights and still cannot complete this. He has summed up all the essence of why do we exist in this world. The first thing he is saying is that you, the living entity, the living force inside the body, has nothing to do with this world. It is transcendental. The body might seem to die, but actually, the self, the very self, the soul, Brahman, it is actually Aksharam. It is indestructible. It has no destruction. Right? So, first of all, what is our nature? We are Brahman. We are that living force. And we are indestructible, and we are Paramam. We are transcendental. So, this is what Brahman is. And the Swabhava, the eternal nature of this Brahman is called Adhyatma or the self. Right? So who are we? Are we this body, the mind, intelligence, false ego, or all the designation that this world has given us? No. We are actually Brahman. right? So we must endeavor to understand that we must make this distinction at every point of our life, that I am not this matter, or I am not connected to this matter. Actually, I am a spiritual entity which is having the experience of matter. So if we have that discrimination, that is how we can prioritize the spiritual aspect of our life, like that. Else we will be into sense gratification only. Everything that our body dictates and the mind takes us to, we will go and try to enjoy it blindly. But when we understand that, oh no, this is not my nature actually, Krishna is saying that we are beyond this. We are, paramam, we are transcendental. So that is how we can establish back our relationship with Krishna. So Krishna is saying Aksharam Brahma Paramam. We are indestructible, we are Brahman, and we are Paramam, transcendental. And our eternal nature is called Adhyatma, or the self. Next, then the next question might come, okay, the Brahman is actually transcendental. It has nothing to do with this material world. Then how is material world coming into existence in the first place? Right? How is this material world there then? Then why are we here? If we have nothing to do with this world, we don't belong to this world, or our nature is totally opposite of this world, then why are we here? Then why this creation is happening? Why this entire world is running in the way how it is running right now? So Krishna says it is because of your karma. It is because of the karma the creation is happening, right? So which means that if we connect all the things that we have learned so far from Bhagavad Gita, we will understand that we are actually spiritual entities, right? But we are trapped inside this material body. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते. Krishna says in the second chapter, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. So just like a child, he is born, then he becomes a child, he is a baby, then he becomes a child, then he becomes a boy, then he becomes a, you know, an adolescent, a teenager, then he becomes a man, and then becomes old, mature, then old, decline, death. So similarly, once you quit this body, you get another body. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. Just like the body transforms from Kaumaram, yauvanam and jara. Similarly, tata dehantara praptir. So similarly, when this deha is over, this deha dies, tata dehantara praptir, you get a new deha, right? So which means that the soul is Aksharam, that is Brahman inside the body, which is indestructible, and it is Paramam also. It is transcendental. It has nothing to do with the body, else it would have died with the body. So this Brahman is Aksharam. It is having this bodily experience because it is inside the body. It has a covering of, the subtle bodies, the mind, intelligence, and false ego, right? And it is transmigrating from one body to another, then another, then another. So he has five senses. This gross body has five senses. It is trying to, enjoy this world. And why are we trying to enjoy this world? Because we all are seeking pleasure. The real pleasure of ours is actually lying with Krishna, right? Because we are in this perverted condition right now, we are away from Krishna and we want to enjoy this world separately from Krishna. So that is the reason why, we are trapped here. So Krishna in the previous chapter, he was telling that, uh, actually this creation of mine, the external energy of mine is inferior, and superior than this there is one more, right? One more form of energy of mine, which we technically named it as, Tatastha Shakti. We found it from different scriptures. Tatastha Shakti, that is us, the Jivatmas. So the Jivatmas are actually superior to this cosmic manifestation. Why? Because this cosmic manifestation is made of dull matter, dark matter. But the spiritual entities, they have life force, they have spirit, right? because we are part and parcel of Krishna. So because of that, that nature of ours, that very nature of ours, which is referred to here as Adhyatma, that nature of ours as Brahman, is actually making us superior to this external manifestation of Krishna's energy called matter. Then why we are trapped here? We are trapped here because of our desire to enjoy this matter, turning away from Krishna to satisfy our lust, greed, and anger. That is why we are trapped here. So, because we are doing something to enjoy this world, we are trapping ourselves in a loop of karma. Everything that we do has a reaction. So, for that reaction, we have to be present in some way or the other, and then that reaction would come. When we are accepting those reactions, we would be doing a new thing, and because of which the results of the new karmas are due now. Then the results of that karma will come, and this is going on since time immemorial. This is going on since you know since beginningless loop, you can say. There is no beginning from where actually we can trace out and say that, oh, at this point of time I was trapped. No. Because of our free will, because of the misuse of this free will to enjoy apart from Krishna, to trying to become Purusha when we are Prakriti, right? We are to be enjoyed by Krishna, but we are trying to enjoy like Krishna. So that is the reason why we are being trapped here. So this world, we are trying to exploit this world. These words, I am not saying this word, these words are being spoken by Krishna himself in the 7th chapter. You can read again. See? That we are trying to enjoy, we are trying to exploit this material nature, and because of that we are being bound in this endless loop of karma, right? And Krishna says, Mama Maya Duratyaya. It is very difficult to overcome. Duratyaya, she is dangerous. She'll just not leave you. You know? And how do you get, how do we get out of this, Krishna? So Krishna says, uh, become my devotee and she'll leave you and you come back. It is very simple, actually, if you see. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante maya metantarante. Daivihi esha gunamayi, this energy of mine, this energy, this divine energy of mine, Daivihi esha gunamayi, she comprises of gunamayi, she is of gunas. What are those gunas? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Daivihi esha gunamayi, mama maya duratyaya. This Maya, she is mine, mama Maya, Krishna says. Mama Maya Duratyaya, she is very difficult to overcome, almost impossible if you endeavor from yourself without the help of Krishna. Mama Maya Duratyaya, Mam eva ye prapadyante Maya metantarantite. Only the person who certainly, without any reservations, only that person who surrenders unto me, Mam eva ye prapadyante. Only those people who surrender to me, माम एव ये प्रपद्यन्ते माया में तम तरंते, वो लोग तर जाते हैं माया से. They get out of this maya. So what is actually separating that moment of our reunion with Krishna? It is very simple. Krishna says throughout the Gita, it is that you are not willing to surrender. If you are willing to surrender, you surrender at this moment, I will take you back. Because all these rules and regulations and karma phala, they are not applicable on Krishna. Krishna is the supreme Lord. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasabha Bhritya. Krishna is the only supreme personality of Godhead, and everybody else is a Bhritya, is a servant. So when Krishna says that leave this soul and I am taking him back, Yamraj cannot say that, oh no, this person has so and so done so and so karma, so I have to take him to the hell. No. Krishna is not bound by all these things. He can just, in blink of an eye, he can take you back to Godhead, maybe lesser than that time. Uh, so that's why throughout Krishna Lila, we can see that in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, you see that how Putana is coming. The description of Putana is actually very dangerous. that Shukadev Goswami speaks of. So Shukadev Goswami uses the words like, Ghora Ghatini. So she is a person who loves, to kill young children and drink their blood. She is a kind of person. She is that kind of person. So you can understand that what kind of a yoni she is in, and she is enjoying murdering others. She is enjoying, doing all sort of atrocities for the sake of Kamsa. Right? She is such a person. You can understand the character of Putana. So deceiving, and so much of envy inside her heart. She is such a personality. But what happened to her? She is now a nurse, a dhatri in Goloka Vrindavan, where Krishna stays eternally. She is an assistant to Mother Yashoda there. What is the qualification of Putana? There was absolutely no qualification of Putana other than that she entered Braj in the Veshabhush of a Brajvasi. And Krishna just took her back like that. Just because she externally acted also, Krishna said that okay, no problem. So in this world we see that if you are working for someone, you do 100 tasks, and from that 99 big tasks, important tasks you do perfectly, and one task you make a mistake. People will only count that one task which you blundered in. And Krishna is exactly opposite. You might have done 99 mistakes, 99 big mistakes in life, which we all have done already. That's why we are here. So, and only one good quality that you have. And it doesn't matter how much inferior of a quality that is. Krishna only looks at that good part and he accepts us. That is why we say, Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu. You are an ocean of mercy. You are an ocean of Karuna. Why? Because all the flaws that we have, he doesn't look at those things. He just focuses on that one thing, one good thing that you have, and he accepts you for what you are. Like Putana, she only had bad qualities. And what did Krishna see in her? Krishna saw that, okay, she has dressed up like Mother Yashoda, fine. He is forgetting about all those things कि अरे इसने इतने जन को मारा है, इसने ये किया है, इसका फैमिली बैकग्राउंड ऐसा है, ये है, वो है, ऐसी है, वैसी है. No. He says that at least she has dressed like Mother Yashoda. No problem. I'll take her back. She is trying to feed me milk. Right? Krishna is neglecting the poison on her breast. And he is only accepting, he is saying that at least she came with, uh, she wanted to externally, even if she was acting, she acted like Mother Yashoda. Okay, fine, you come to Golok Vrindavan. Like that. So on Krishna, all these rules and regulations are not applicable. So Krishna says that Mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Somebody who, you know, takes shelter of me, he just, then Maya doesn't affect on him or her, whoever it is. So Krishna is saying that what are we actually? We are Aksharam, Brahma, Paramam. We are Aksharam, we are indestructible Brahman, and our nature is Brahman. And the eternal nature of Brahman is called Adhyatma. Then why are we here? We are here because we are bound by our karma, and because of our karma, all these creations are happening. All these things are happening around us. All these material manifestations are happening. Why? Because of our karma. Because of our karma. That is what Krishna is saying here. Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said the indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma or fruitive activities. Hare Krishna. अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहम् एवात्र देहे देहभृतं वर O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called Adhibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adhidaiva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adhiyajna, the Lord of sacrifices. So, what is Krishna saying here? Ki Adhibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha. Adhibhutam, this material manifestation, Ksharo Bhavaha. वहां पे हम लोग ने ब्रह्मन का क्या बोला था? What is Brahman? Brahman is Akshara, right? And here Krishna is saying that Adhibhuta, that is his material manifestation, is Kshara Bhavaha. Kshara means the opposite of indestructible. It is ever changing. Something is created, then destroyed, then again created, then maintained for a time, and then destroyed. This material world is like that. So he's saying that what is Adhibhutam? Adhibhutam, this material manifestation is Ksharam Bhavaha. It is Kshara. It is, ever changing. Bhavaha. Of its nature is that of Kshara Bhavaha. So this is the next question of Arjuna, that what is Adhibhuta? What is material manifestation? Krishna answered here. So we can make a distinction here itself. You found that Brahman and this Adhibhuta, they are exactly opposite. Right? Brahman is Akshara and Adhibhuta is Kshara. Right? So Brahman is indestructible. But this uh, Adhibhuta, or this material manifestation, is destructible and it is ever changing. Again, we can connect with, Dehinosmin Yata Dehe or Vasam se Jirnani Yata Vihaya. Just like you change the old clothes. Similarly, when the body is worn and torn out and you have no use with it anymore, you just change and skip to another body. So similarly, you can see that the changing of the body once you die is a part of this Adhibhuta, this material manifestation, right? The body. But the soul inside, which is indestructible, immutable, and which does not change at all, that is Brahman, right? So it is exactly opposite. We must understand that there is a great sort of difference. Fundamentally, there is difference between Brahman and Adhibhuta. And people, the good news is that if you even understand this much, that what is the difference between Brahman and what is Adhibhuta, or this material manifestation, what is the difference between matter and spirit, then you can easily understand who Krishna is and how does all these things happen. This is the challenging part. We might, the more you read and the more sadhana you're stronger, the sadhana gets stronger, you will understand more and more about these things. But what is actually realization, what is actually called enlightenment by everyone, is actually this making of distinction between the matter and spirit. If you can distinguish between matter and spirit, you are enlightened. And if you cannot make a distinction between matter and spirit, it means that you are still in dehatma buddhi. You are still under the notion and under the clutches of Maya, where you think that I am this body, mind, and intelligence, right? So we have to make clear distinctions at every point of time. Ki are acha Adhibhutam is Sharam, it is destructible, but Brahman is Aksharam, it is forever. In Adhibhutam there is suffering, right? Like Krishna says that Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam, this place is full of dukkha, misery, and Ashashvatam, temporary. But at the same time, if you take Brahman, it is Satchit and Ananda, it is eternal and it is blissful, right? It is full of knowledge, things like that. But at the same time, you see this world is full of misery, Nirananda, right? And this world is Chara, which is ever changing. It is Asat, it is not truth, you know. And what to speak about knowledge, we all know what knowledge people have in this world. So yeah, it is actually ignorance personified. Anyways, Adhibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha Purushascha Adhidaivatam. And what is Adhidaiva? Adhidaiva means, we saw what is Devata and all those things Arjuna was asking. So Krishna is saying is Purushas. So when we speak about Purusha, it is a very big topic actually, but still I would say, see see what happens is, if you take the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord, actually the 75, like three-fourth of his creation is actually the spiritual world, right? Which is Vaikuntha Lokas. And 25%, one-fourth of his creation is actually this material world. This material world is actually like a jail where, these Tatastha Shaktis which want to enjoy like the Purusha, they come here. So that happens. So when so in this material world, Krishna is not having a direct hand of affairs in this. He does that through his expansions, right? So there are different kinds of avatars of the Lord, है ना? अवतार मतलब बहुत अलग अलग प्रकार के होते हैं. दशावतार is the most famous one that we know, but actually there are many prominent avatars. Like if you take Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that अनंत अवतार होते हैं भगवान के. It is like, counting the waves in an ocean. Is it possible to count the waves in the ocean? No. Similarly, you just cannot count and complete the count कि हाँ भगवान के आज तक इतने अवतार हुए. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work that way. So if you take Sandarbhas of Jiva Goswami, in Krishna Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami gives distinctions as to, how many different kinds of avatars are there. So Krishna has some Leela avatars, like Sri Ramachandra or Narsingadev or Krishna, they are Leela avatars. Then there are Purusha avatars. Then there are, Shakti Avesha avatars like Narada Muni, or Kalki is about to come, and all those things. So there are different avatars of Krishna. So avatar actually means divine descendants. Even incarnation is a wrong word for avatar, because if you take incarnation, the incarnations have flesh and blood. They have that kind of notion in the West. So incarnation is actually a wrong word for avatar. Avatar actually means divine descendants. You know, uh, it is actually a transcendental descendants of the Supreme Lord. That is what Avatar is. So he comes in his own form. He does not take, this Prakriti's elements and make a body for himself and comes as a soul inside it. No, it doesn't work that way. So that is why we see that Krishna, as a small boy who is just 6 years old, he is lifting Govardhan with his left hand, with his pinky finger. It is not possible with a material body, right? It is spiritual body. Satchitananda Vigraha of Krishna, if you see. So Krishna, when he comes here in this world, it is a divine descendants. He is spirit only. As spirit only, he is coming to this world. So when he comes for different purposes. Even though we are like, those prisoners, but still he is a very kind personality, right? So when he comes, so for different purposes, he would come. So in order to run the universe, he has expansions of his who do that work, like indirect expansions of Krishna who does that work. So these are called Purusha avatars of Krishna. So there are basically three Purusha avatars of Krishna. The first is being Mahavishnu, who is also known as Mahasankarshan, and also known as Karanodakashai Vishnu. So the Karanodakashai Vishnu, he lies in the causal ocean in Yoga Nidra with thousands of heads and millions of arms and legs and all. He lies in the ocean of Karana Udaka, or the causal river, which is also called Viraja Nadi. He lies there, and when he breathes out, at that point, from every pore of his, uh, his transcendental body, actually different universes emanate, which is made up of all this Mahat Tattva. It is called Mahat Tattva. These are a bit technical terms, but still, nevertheless, we will just brush upon it. I am not saying that we are going to dive deep into all these things, but still, just for the sake of understanding, the universes come out. And when the universes come out, it is actually dead matter, right? This Mahamaya of Krishna is actually, it comprises of dead matter actually. It is, so Krishna is spirit, right? But this energy Mahamaya of Krishna comprises of dead matter. So now Mahavishnu has to give life to this, entire cosmic manifestation that has come out of him. So in order to give life, so that is when Mahavishnu, the Purusha, He's the first Purusha avatara. So he is actually glancing on Prakriti. And what is Prakriti? Prakriti is this cosmic manifestation. So now cosmic manifestation is actually what? It is actually, dead matter. It has no matter, life in it. So at that point, the Purusha, Mahavishnu, glances on this material nature. And when he glances, the Kala Shakti, you know, of Mahavishnu, the Kala Shakti of Mahavishnu, it is actually agitating the Prakriti, and creation happens. This is called Sarga. So the first primary creation of the universe is done by Mahavishnu. That is why, in ISKCON, when Prabhupada writes about Brahmaji, he says that Brahmaji is the greatest engineer of this universe. Right? He won't say that, the creator, but he is actually the engineer. Why? Because the first creation was made by the Supreme Lord himself. As per Srimad Bhagavatam, the Sarga happens by the Supreme Lord. The Visarga happens by Brahmaji. Right? So the point is that when Mahavishnu glances on Prakriti, Prakriti becomes agitated and life begins from there. And in that glance, when Prakriti is agitated by time, at that point the Jivas come into the Prakriti, and they take different forms of life. Like, so these Jivas, how do they enter? It is through the glance of the Supreme Lord. Mahavishnu, he glances the time factor, and the time factor agitates Prakriti and impregnates her. This specific form of glancing, it is actually Shivji. This is actually the relationship. If you see, this is actually Shivji. That portion, that when Mahavishnu is glancing over this material nature, it is actually Shiva Tattva. Like, that's why Shivji is called Mahakal. you know he's Kala, he is time. And this time factor, from where is it coming? It is the glancing of Mahavishnu. When he is glancing, time comes into picture. That Mahakal, he comes into picture, and it is actually agitating Prakriti, and through which creation is beginning. So that is actually the first union of Parvati Devi and Shivji. If you see, Mahakal and Parvati Devi is Maya Devi herself. So that is why we say that even though, Shivji is a devotee of Lord Vishnu, but still, if you see, at a point there is no difference. Shivji is like curd and Mahavishnu is like milk. That's what the idea is. So this is the reason why it is like that. Mahavishnu, so Shivji is actually, you can say, he handles a very big position in this material world, and because of that special status, he cannot be an ordinary jiva. It is not possible for an ordinary jiva to take the position of Shivji. So that is why he is actually considered to be a kind of expansion only of Vishnu Tattvas. So yeah, so what I'm trying to say, so first one is Mahavishnu. Now all the universes are created. Now inside every universe, Mahavishnu further expands, and all the universes that are created, into that he enters into with a form of Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters into his own creation. You know, it is expansion of Mahavishnu only. He enters into the entire creation. Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And from this is that Garbhodakshay Vishnu, from whom, whose navel Brahmaji is coming. And Brahmaji offers prayers and starts creation and engineering and all those stuffs. That is Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And after that, within each and every universe, these Garbhodakshay Vishnus, they further expand. And they expand and enter into each and every atom of living of the material world, and each and every heart of every living entity as Paramatma. This is Kshirodakshay Vishnu, the famous, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, whom we see in the serials and all, how Devatas are going to Kshir Sagar and they are praying to Vishnu. So this is that Kshirodakshay Vishnu. He is Paramatma form. These are actually the primary, you can say, the three Purusha avatars of Krishna. Mahavishnu, also known as Karnodakshay Vishnu. Then there is Garbhodakshay Vishnu in each and every universe. And then there is Kshirodaksha Vishnu within the heart of every living entity, and in Kshir Sagar, you see. So these are actually Purusha avatars. Now, from these Purusha avatars, if you are only specifically speaking about this cosmic manifestation, say for example, this universe. So this Garbhodakshay Vishnu, he is the in charge of this entire universe now. And this Garbhodakshay Vishnu in his Virata form, when he stands, all these devatas and everything, they reside inside his body. जो विराट रूप होता है ना, जो भगवान दिखाएंगे विश्व रूप दर्शन के टाइम पे, हम लोग तभी डिस्कस करेंगे डेप्थ में. लेकिन I wanted to just run through this. Then only you can understand that what Purushas do. Yeah, else you will just plainly, translate it. So what is Krishna trying to say? Who is actually Adidaivatam? Adidaivatam is that Purusha form of Krishna in which all the Devatas, everyone is present. Right? So that is that Purushas. So Adidaivatam. So Adi Yajna, then one question Arjuna had, then who is Adi Yajna, who is residing within the heart of every living entity? So Krishna says, Adi Yajnoham, Adi Yajnaha Aham. I am that Adi Yajna, Krishna says. Evatra Dehe Deha Bhritambara. Oh, Arjuna, that Adhyatna you are speaking about, that is me. I am the Lord of, you know, the all the sacrifices, and I am that personality who is residing within the heart of every living entity. Krishna is saying. So actually, this topic, it is very, what do you say? It can be very complex, or we have to refer to many many things, because Krishna, because he is an expert, speaker, and Arjuna is an expert listener who is a pure devotee who knows everything already. For them, it is, just like Krishna spoke and Arjuna understood. But for us, we have to know a lot of things to make sense actually what is happening, what is Krishna saying, because each and every word that Krishna is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita, it has so much depth into it, that we have to first of all make a background of each and every word, that why Krishna is using this particular word, and we have to connect everything with one another. So many a times when we are first for reading Bhagavad Gita for the first time, we will just read through it. अच्छा ओके ऐसा 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 बोल रहा है. So then we will say that, oh ठीक है, मतलब ठीक था, ऐसा कुछ था नहीं. And many people, I even know that they don't read Sanskrit. First of all, they'll first of all say that अरे मेरे को नहीं आता है तो मैं नहीं पढ़ूंगा. ऐसा ये गलत है, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि it is the word of Krishna, right, at the end of the day. So that word has power. Second thing, they don't even read the purports. They just run through, this meanings and translation, and they are happy. So in a matter of a week, they will read the entire Bhagavad Gita 700 verses ka translation, and they said that I read the Bhagavad Gita, but it's okay. I didn't understand much. How will you understand much? Because you have to read the purports. Then you will understand a bit. And the beauty of Bhagavad Gita is, the more you dive deeper into other scriptures, like for example, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam and come back to Bhagavad Gita, that's when you understand with more clarity that acha, okay, Krishna is speaking about this also. So it has a lot of gravity and weight in Bhagavad Gita. अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयाति समद्भावम् याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः. So now Krishna is saying, Antakale cha mam eva. Antakale, towards the end of your life, cha mam eva. Smaran muktva kalevaram. So muktva, kalevaram means, kalevar matlab ye body. Isko kalevar कहते हैं. It's like, which basically like a jail in which we are. So this kalevar, this body in which we are, you know, muktva kalevaram, when you are leaving this body, so at that point, antakale cha mam eva smaran. So at that point, antakala, when you are mukta kalevaram, when you are getting out of this body, you have to remember me. Yaha prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshayam. So for that person, yaha, those person who are actually remembering me while they are leaving their body, this kalevar, at the time antakale, at the time of their death, yah prayati, they prayati, they travel, or they go where? Mad bhavam. Mad bhavam, bhava means nature, है ना? अभी तक हम लोग भूत bhava and all those words we saw. So mad bhavam means my nature. And what is Krishna's nature? That is spiritual nature, right? It is not this adibhutam. So it means that you get out of this adibhutam and you come to mad bhavam. That is Krishna's bhavam, Krishna's nature. That is, you enter, you leave Mahamaya and you join Yoga Maya. But that is what it is. So when Krishna says that he attains my nature, it doesn't mean that you become Krishna. It means that you take part in the nature of Krishna, that is Yoga Maya. You back to Goloka Vrindavan and engage in Krishna's service in all those activities like that. Yaha prayati samad bhavam yati nasti atra samshaya. You don't doubt. Samshaya mat karo. It will happen. See? Hare Krishna. One second. Yeah. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. No doubt. And Prabhupada, excellent purports by Prabhupada here. You must definitely go through these purports. So I think that we will do up to here. From tomorrow onwards we'll continue from the sixth verse itself. So my plan was to actually take session from 11 to 12:30, but for some reasons we got late, so we may stop here. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, you may ask. We can take one or two. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, new questions.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
No questions.
Okay. So we'll stop the session here. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining.